War Eagle Auburn family, welcome back to another edition of E2C Network Live, where we get together and we're talking about what's going on in the world of the Auburn family spectrum. Always heavy on the sports here on this podcast network and the channel. But if it's orange and blue, it is what we do. On tonight's live stream, it is fair game. Whatever you want to talk about, hopefully it's Auburn related, but we'll talk about it here. Probably with a few exceptions out there. There's some weird things out there that we don't want to talk about, like dustbusters and things like that. For those of you that are regulars, you'll know what that is at the very top of the show that I'm already mentioning. So it's fair game call-in show tonight. I have a guest that I'm going to introduce in just a second as well. But those are what are on the table for us today. As you come into the live stream, please do make sure you smash that like button if you do enjoy this type of content. Invite a friend, share it out on social media. And we're going to get this thing rolling tonight. So let me do that by introducing a guest that is a familiar voice on the E2C Network podcast. He's been a guest of several shows before. He's also written a lot of things in our blogs. You'll know him from the 3-Point Thoughts articles that he's done. Thumbs up, thumbs down, grading the Auburn football games of previous seasons. He is the one, the only, Mr. Austin Scott. Austin, what's up?
What's up, man? How are you doing?
Just somehow trying to pull this thing together.
Thanks for having me. This is fun.
Of course. So Austin, obviously, as I've said, is very familiar with our network. We're familiar with him. This is a guy that you may not see or hear a lot of, but he's there. He's out there. He's in the know of a lot of things. And I value his input and his opinions on a lot of things. So I'm happy to have you here tonight.
I'm really happy to be here too, man. You and I were talking earlier today about doing this tonight, and it got me thinking we're really close. Well, I was thinking I'm really close to some thumbs up, thumbs down, but that means we're really close to Auburn football. And so I'm really excited. It's kind of crazy that we're this close after such a weird last year and a long summer and coaching change, and we'll get into whatever we want to, but I'm really excited we're close.
Yeah, was it like 24 days now, I think, is like the countdown or something like that? 23 days?
I always go to a Saturday and then count back. So I guess we're 21, about 24.
The low 20s is what we'll say.
Right.
Because it's drawing closer and the itch is starting to really get really bad. I need some football and I need it now. And I mean, I know we got fall camp, but it's fall camp, the first 2 days of it are like, oh, everything's exciting, press conferences, and then you're like, oh, it's another press conference.
That's right. And we're almost back to like a normal year, like a full stadium. I think that's what I'm most excited about, is just like seeing full stadiums and full atmospheres again. And because it really feels like we've had such a long summer, including last college football season, from like anything we're really used to. So
right,
it's coming.
It is coming. All right, let's say hello to a couple of people that are already checking in. You guys know the drill. As you come in, post that War Eagle, where you're watching from, city, state, international, all that good stuff. We got Russell in the house. James is here. Channel member and Booster Club member John Stokes is also here. Thanks, John. And stereotypical Auburn fan, too. Always got to love that name. He is in the house as well. Don't be shy. Say hello, War Eagle, and where you're watching from, even if you're watching live or on the replay. So tonight, we are going to also take call-ins. You can call in with the link that's available at the top of the chat window. Can't promise if your connection is not that great, it won't be that great of experience, as we've seen sometime. But that option is available. You can see it at the top. Click on that link and you can be on video or just audio only, and you can talk to me and Austin live here on the show. So do not be shy and take advantage of that. And we are just going to bounce around. Let's start right here with what was brought up. If Tyrone Truesdale transfers to UCF.
Yeah, how about that? Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, I mean, you got any feelings on that, opinions on that? Like, how's that?
I mean, would it surprise me that much? Not really. How many people have we seen, head down there? We've got Anthony Richards, Domio, Big Cat. Am I missing somebody?
I feel like that's the three. There might be another one out there somewhere, but that's the big three that have gone.
Yes, and then you have T-Well and, a multitude of connections. So it wouldn't surprise me that much. But we've also seen guys have transferred. We had one guy go to Indiana and smaller schools too. So who knows? It'd be an interesting twist.
What do you think about the Big Cat comments? We've talked about this on previous live streams a lot, in my opinions on it. But you got anything on the whole Big Cat situation? Thinking UCF can beat Auburn?
It's funny. I mean, that's all I can really say about it. It's funny. I think the biggest thing that my brother and I were talking about is it's kind of, you know this, Kyle, and our viewers might, but I was a big Gus fan. You and I have talked about that at length. But in a sense, Big Cat is talking about the guys his coach brought to Auburn. So it's kind of a toss up but I really don't think he meant much by it, by just trying to get some headlines. And it's UCF. They're all about the headlines and the attention, and they got it. It worked. So,
which is weird because Gus is not a very attention-seeking guy, and like it's almost like he's entered this new world for himself where he's not dyeing his hair. He doesn't he doesn't give a you know what anymore. It seems like he's putting hashtags on the back of jerseys and stuff like that. I mean, it's not my cup of tea. That's not my Gus. But I don't like. It's kind of like, well, man, if you're gonna go for it, go for it. Hey,
I mean, he said he was going to get back to doing what he does and being himself, and maybe this is him. And you and I have talked as well. There's a lot of factors at Auburn that can make it hard, including people who don't need to be where they need to be and putting their noses where people don't need to have them. So I love Gus. I know you do too, and so I hope this is the fun Gus that they're going to have a good time, as long as we don't play him.
Well, actually, I kind of want to play him, to be honest with you. I do, because I think that's the happy medium. Because if we bring him in, we beat him. That everybody who hates on Gus, that gives them their comeuppance. Yeah. They get their just desserts. They get to we got him. And then to me, it's kind of like the closing of a book. It's like we put that to bed. You're not better than Auburn. We got it done. Just my feeling. It kind of shuts the whole thing down. We do have some clarification in the chat. Apparently, Nate Craig Myers is down there. Is that true? I don't remember that.
Yeah, he did. I don't know how this guy still has eligibility. He left Colorado State and joined them down there too. So I guess by way of Colorado State, he counts as well.
I will say that's not a bad pickup for Gus. I think Nate Craig's a pretty good talent. Hey, listen, if you've got the relationships with the players, bring them on in.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest here. This little spinny thing you've got going on in your background, it is mesmerizing me. I love it.
Yeah.
What is this?
I've been enamored with these for so long. They're called hover helmets. My roommate in college and I saw one at the Full Moon Barbecue down here in Tigertown, and we couldn't stop staring at it. And I've been talking about, we ended up getting it for him for his wedding present and everything. And then like a couple months ago, my dad popped up and he like won one and got me one. And I was like, this is one of the greatest gifts ever. So yeah, I've come in here. This is a guest bedroom. I come in here and just stare at it sometimes.
It's definitely got me mesmerized. I might have to think about getting one now. But as you can see, my wall is pretty full. I do have a blank space. You can't see the way the screen is right now that everybody comments on. But that's it had plans for it. There's things on hold. We'll address that later. But anyway, James brings this up about the whole Big Cat comments and stuff like that. And I try to stress this with everybody. Remember, the players see what you write on social media, and they love to mess with us. I would say you, but I'm going to include myself in that because I'm susceptible to it as well. But they love to mess with y'all. I'm not, well, I shouldn't say I guarantee you. I feel very confident there's a high chance that those boys in Big Cat got together and said, hey, man, do you think we could act like we're mad at each other and we'll get people talking?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this reeks of that. Like I'm calling bull crap on it. This was planned because they know what this is about. They know how to get people churning and talking about them and things like that, get their name out there. That's just me.
You got to remember that these guys too have been like Big Cat was here. You don't see a lot of the freshmen taking beef to this that don't know who Big Cat Brian is or don't know him. Like these guys are closer than brothers at points. I agree with you 100%. Even if they didn't plan it, I think they all saw it and before tweeted anything, texted him and said, "Are you insane? Like, what was this all about for real?" and everything too.
Well, and it could have been as innocent as he, like, meant to just stir him up and stuff like that, and now it's become the thing. It's like, "Alright, let's just keep it going," type of thing.
Right.
Hey, listen, if they wanna give us motivation, I'm good with it. Hey, whatever we need, put it on the bulletin board. Apparently, we've already given Alabama bulletin board material with Bo Nix's comments because everybody got all in a tizzy about that. How dare he actually say that his team could beat Alabama?
Exactly.
Oh, I mean, that's just me. I don't know what Austin brings out the worst in me, I think, like, he gets me going.
Well said.
I don't know. I just feel like I act up more when you're here because you're such a nice guy that I feel like I have to now act up because you're a nice guy.
That's fine. We can act up.
I guess we can. All right. As a reminder, guys, if you do want to call in and say hi to Austin or just talk to us, you can. The chat window is open if you want to do that. And it is an easy, well, I say it's easy. Then we had some technical difficulties last time with some people trying to call in. Corey, good to see you. I saw you check in just a second ago. If you guys got thoughts, questions about anything, share it out there. Obviously, football is the main thing that we're going to probably be discussing today a lot. But basketball is not too far around the corner. You got any inclinations when I know that they have released the non-conference schedule, what the home and away SEC. So technically we have the full schedule minus the scheduling aspect. Have you heard anything about like when they're going to actually say, okay, this is the exactly full schedule?
No, I haven't. I'm trying to think about back when it usually happens. I want to say it's like early October. Back in, I remember being in school and it was midway through football season is when it started coming out, and you started thinking about which games are going to be on home weekends and stuff like that. So I think we're still a little bit ways away, but yeah, you're right. I mean, it's the home and away has come out for SEC schedule. We have the non-conference, so we're piecing it together. But I'm sure someone could honestly try and piece it together out without times right now. But it's got to be soon.
Do you think? What do you think of that non-conference schedule so far? Have you taken a look at it, or have you had that time?
Briefly, I like it. It seems pretty strong, which I think is Auburn's at a point where it might as well be. And so I like it. I like the challenges that they've got. I'm trying to remember. I know South Florida's on there. I mean, that's a mid-American conference. There's the big in Atlanta. They're playing Nebraska. I'm trying to think of someone else. I could pull it up, I guess.
Well, the big thing for me is the tournament that they're going to be in, the Battle for Atlantis down in the Bahamas.
That's right.
It starts off, with what I think Auburn would be favored in their starting matchup. Their UConn. UConn's isn't it weird how much UConn has fallen off?
Yeah, really is.
It just feels weird.
I remember when they scheduled them in basketball, like a few years ago, like right in Bruce's first couple years, and it was like, wow, we're playing UConn, and I think it was a home and home, but it was like even then they were a few years removed from that title run, and they just fallen so far. It's crazy with a team and a program with that kind of history.
It's crazy. All right, we do have our first caller in. I'm going to bring him on in. It just says, Bo, Mr. Jackson, is this you?
No, this is James from Moody, Alabama.
Boo. I said boo. Bo, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, how are y'all?
Oh, not too bad. I don't think we got too much to complain about. What's on your mind tonight?
I'm the one that said about the guys getting upset about the big cat thing, because I thought, it was a shot in the how can I put it?
Like thinking of the
UCF is better than us. Like UCF is better than us. And if they want some bulletin board material, there it is.
Yeah,
there it is. And I love that Bo said that about Bama. I love it.
I did
because
too.
He's done it before. He can do it again.
Absolutely. What's funny about that, Bo, talking about Bo, I was at a family reunion recently. I think I shared this on a previous live stream. And I had it was a stereotypical Alabama fan sit down across from me. And, we were talking football, general stuff. And then somebody asked me, what do you think about your quarterback? I said, Bo Nix will be the starting quarterback. Feel pretty good about it. And he was like, he just started laughing, making all these comments. And I said, well, I'll take a guy with a win in an Iron Bowl over one with 0 any day of the week. I don't know how you feel about that, but
you're right. You're right. And another thing, I think Demetrius Davis is better than people give him credit for. Mm-hmm. And I think he's going to take second string. I really do. I think he's gonna beat that LSU joker. I can't stand that dude for nothing.
Well, you better learn to stand him because he's here right now and he's part of our team. But I understand your point. I think a lot of the times it does feel like Davis has taken a backseat because of the hype of bringing in TJ Finley. I look at Davis personally as the future of Auburn currently. I would much rather us get on a system of a quarterback's around for like 2 to 3 years and we've got the next one ready to go as a redshirt sophomore or something like that, where they're a little bit more mature, a little bit more ready to go. And I think if you do that, because let's walk this out for a second. If Bo leaves after this year, I'm not saying he is, but let's just say he does. That makes it obviously a game between TJ Finley and Demetrius Davis. Demetrius will be Austin, what would he be at this point? Next year?
Be a junior.
If he doesn't play, and Demetrius?
Yeah.
Demetrius, if he does not play this upcoming year, he'll be a redshirt freshman. He just got to campus.
That's right.
Oh, that is right.
But TJ would be a junior, I think, at that
point. TJ he was a true freshman last year. So yes. Academically, he'd be a junior.
Listen, COVID's messed up so many things.
Insane.
Yeah.
The whole who's a senior, who's a junior truly now with this whole extra eligibility thing, I can't keep it straight.
Makes no sense.
I can't either, man.
It's tough, man.
I seen what Finley did in games with LSU, and I really wasn't impressed. I really wasn't. So
yeah, it's not something that I look at as a. I'm trying to think of a nice way to help me, Austin. I'm trying to think of a nice way to say this. I don't look at TJ as the future as much as I do Demetrius Davis, because I think I think TJ is going to have a role and an important role this year, especially. But I don't know that it's going to be like a more future focused one like Davis will have. So I like your comment.
Yeah, I think Finley, if he does come in, I think he's going to be on the goal line. Like what was that quarterback we had? That big old tall joker went to Kentucky.
Joey Gatewood.
Yeah, they wasted him, man. He should have. He was the man. He really was.
I don't know about that. I saw him play a few games in Kentucky, and I'm like, I think we got out of that one. That's just me. I know I've got different opinions than everybody else, but
Okay.
Here's the thing. I think we are set up for a lot more success than people are aware of at quarterback, whether it's, Bo this year and then maybe staying another year, whether it's Demetrius Davis, whether it's Holder. Austin, how do you say his name? Holder Grenier? Is that how you say it?
I have not been told. I'm going with Holden Gerner.
Gerner?
At all. I'm going with Holden Gerner.
Yes, Gerner.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that, Bo.
Yeah.
But I just struggle with names so much, and that one already messes me up.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that's a great topic to bring up that people may be overlooking Demetrius a little bit. And
why don't you on the next show get some recruiting experts come in, man? Like
I can certainly try to, sir. I can certainly try to.
They said the 19th. It's going to be a big day for Auburn.
Well, we hear that a lot, and I hope that's true. I got burned so many times when I used to be big into recruiting that now I have this twitch every time I try to get too much involved in recruiting because I got my feelings hurt too. I think I always think back to what one was it? Cyrus Quanjo, and I remember where I was when that guy announced on live radio. I think it was, "I'm coming to Auburn." And his parents wouldn't let him do it. That did it in for me. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't.
What about Reuben Foster? What about Reuben Foster?
One too. That one too.
Could list 100 of them.
that was the one, man.
That was awful.
In Auburn High School, and that doggone houndstooth couch. Okay. But anyway, I was gonna say something about recruiting.
Awesome.
The dude from Hewitt Trustful, the receiver.
Javarius Johnson.
Who?
Javarius Johnson?
No, the dude is supposed to commit soon.
Amari Kelly.
Amari Kelly, yes.
Yeah,
he's coming to Auburn. He's coming to Auburn.
Yeah,
We will find out. We're excited. Obviously, we hope it's going to be a big day for Auburn.
I know.
Oh, you know?
From my sources, yeah.
Well, hey,
yeah, I got some buddies that live in Hewitt Trust School. They've heard. So
I'll tell you this much: your sources are way better than my sources. There's a little inside joke going on right here that nobody else is aware of, but
all right, bud.
But hey, thank you so much for calling in, Bo.
All right, War Eagle, y'all.
All right, thanks, Bo. Bye. Yeah, recruiting, man. I don't know that I can deal with it.
Wild world.
We got let's see, Quanjo Hurt, Ruben, TJ Yeldon. TJ, I don't know why. TJ Yeldon, for me, I just never believed that he was coming to Auburn. I don't know if you were following it back then, but
it felt like he was playing the game.
Yeah, that one just never really felt right. All right, let's back up here on some questions. Corey asks, what do you think about the passing of Bowden? Very sad. Obviously, from what I understand, this is just me personally. I know Austin shares these sentiments as well as Christians of what seemed like a very godly man, a man that had it in the right way, things in the right place. It seemed, at least on the surface. So obviously, he's in a much better place now. But what a legacy of football! I mean, just there's certain names that you instantly think of in college football. And obviously, there are different eras as well. But I don't know how you feel, Austin, but I think of Bowden, Coach Bobby Bowden, in the same vein as, some of the greats like Paterno. I know that's got some scandal with it as well, but I think of that in the same vein as well.
Yeah, same. And I echo what you said. I was talking to a buddy of mine I guess Saturday, whenever the news broke, and I was like, man, that's really sad. And he was like, is it though? Like we as
is it though?
Like we know where he's going. We trust in the faith he had, and Kyle and I believe that is a far better place than it is here. And so if that's the case, and we think it is, and that's excellent for Coach Bowden, and I hope we get to meet him one day.
Absolutely. Apparently, we've got Nick Saban here tonight. Welcome, Nick Saban.
Interesting typo there.
We usually get one rogue fan from another team every night. Typically, we see, I think his name is DC Vlogs LSU, and he's actually given us some good insight. So he showed up one day to a live stream and was talking about how much he was glad that TJ Finley was left them to come to us, and then their quarterback got hurt. And I was like, how's it feel now?
Yeah.
He's like, hey, So DC Vlogs, if you are here, if you watch this on the replay, I'm not picking at you, but that was just funny and ironic. Let's see. We got Russell throwing shots at Sabin here right now. Alan, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I didn't know he was had a connection with Woodlawn. That's a very famous high school.
Yep.
A lot more than I was aware of. We had a lot of people chattering with Saban. I think this is just an Auburn fan having fun with it the entire time. Sam does know DC Vlogs. We'll invite him back. Tell him his ears are burning. We're talking about him. We want to see how he's feeling about his quarterback situation a couple weeks removed from all that. What's on your mind, Austin? I've thrown a lot out there, and we've talked about a lot of things. What's on your mind, Auburn-wise?
Yeah, people know I live in Auburn. My wife and I live here after graduating back in 2018. So kids are moving back. And that's always people love Auburn in the summer. We do because it's quiet and you can find parking and not wait in lines to eat at places. But about this time, we're really excited to get back and see kids on campus. There's a lot of baby faces out there that are experiencing Auburn for their first time. And that's always my wife and I's one of our favorite things is to check out campus and see everyone trying to figure out where they're going. And so it's a special time every year that when Auburn students come back, and we're really happy to live here. And so that's on our mind. Traffic has gotten crazy, and it's like, it's okay. We're glad they're here. We're glad they're here. We're glad they're here. And but yeah, and all of that in my mind, Emily, my wife, is like, they're back. It's so fun. Our siblings are still coming here. They're back. But in my mind, that's also just another trigger. Football's even closer. So.
I'm weird. I actually love the crowds. Like when I go to theme parks, like, and trust me, I've been to actually Disney World recently when it was like nobody there because they weren't only allowing 50%.
Right.
That was pretty awesome. That was cool.
Yes.
Not gonna lie. But I actually love being in the hubbub. And the reason I bring that up here is everybody loves game day, but there's something about that I just love being amongst people.
Yeah.
Yes, even with COVID-19, folks, I love being amongst people and just people watching and enjoying what's going on, around me. So I get that. And there is something that's nice about an Auburn summer where, there's every once in a while, there's a little bit of a hubbub, maybe, if there's a camp in town or something like that, but to be able to stroll or just kind of cruise down College and not have to worry about a backup all the way to the church.
No, absolutely.
That's pretty awesome. But then there's also like winter break.
Yeah.
It's like a ghost town and it's creepy.
They all clear out like immediately. It's like by that Saturday of finals, it's dead. And
it's that too. But also like everybody in town goes and sees their families too. And it's like there's nobody here. And when I was there, I lived in downtown. Like I would literally like be looking around here because like you would hear like those familiar noises that would make you feel okay, this is Auburn. I'm good. But no, there's just too quiet. Neil, my friend from East Cobb, he lives near me. We don't know exactly where each other live. We know we're close to it. Walking from the tracks to the stadium makes me feel old. I mean, I get that. It's a long, long walk. I used to walk beyond that. My apartment was back there. Let's see what Shane says. So with NIL, could you pay a rival player to enter the transfer portal? But wondering,
NIL has to be all documented through compliance. So I don't think compliance would like to see some Auburn booster paying an Alabama player to enter the portal. But
if it's documented though,
I mean, if they're none the wiser, who knows?
I don't know that it's so much anything wrong with doing that, like in terms of documentation stuff and like that. But do you think they're going to allow that to happen? No, they will say, okay, we'll counter that now.
There's going to be so much stuff on the gray lines with all this that, I don't know. We'll have to see. There'll be stuff we don't hear about and can only dream of. That'll be the worst stuff.
I just dread the stuff that's coming. Like it was necessary, like in terms of doing something. Yeah. I don't know that this was it, but it's a can of. I hate when we open up Pandora's box too far because you never can put it back in.
Yep, the first years are just going to be chaos, and we're all just going to have to organize it the best we can.
Alan says, I would like to see more dormitories for the students on campus. What do you think? Do you think they don't have enough? Any thoughts? I mean, you're a recent grad, so.
Yeah, I'd like to see nicer dormitories on campus. The Hill has been destined for explosion for years. I think it's in the long-term plan, but, with Auburn construction, you might as well add on another 4 years to anything they say is going to happen. So, I mean, more dorm. I know they're putting a lot of more food options. That's something Auburn's always lacked in comparatively to other schools. More dorms. Who knows? I don't know. It seems like there's a lot more student housing off campus that will not stop, but that's another story for another day, and you don't want to hear me go on that rant.
I was about to say, it sounds like a resident rant right there. But here's the thing, though. Then you lose some of these old historic buildings unless they renovate them and keep the structures and maybe clean up the outside of them to make them look old but new at the same time. I don't know. There's something about like every college needs to keep that one dormitory that nobody wants to stay in, like they'll never admit that they wanted to stay in it, but they kind of loved it at the same time because it made you feel like you were in the old school college thing. Like I remember staying in those ones when I was at camps and stuff like that at Auburn.
See, that's the quad for me. You do everything you can to maintain the quad and renovate it and keep it there because it's in the middle of campus and there's lots of historical. The Hill is out to the edge of campus.
Get rid of it.
Blow it up. Get rid of it and do something else.
To clarify, we are not advocating for blowing up anything. We are advocating that with nobody there, we tear it down
Yes.
By whatever means necessary, if explosives are needed.
Have a safe plan in place.
There we go. Just for in this day and age, you can never be too careful. We just want to clarify that.
Right.
All right, let's see here. But I'm gonna do this again. I'm gonna go ahead and post in the chat the call-in line if you'd like to. You can as well call in using the link at the very top of the chat window, but there it is, kind of in the middle if y'all want to do that as well. Let's see here. We've got a bunch of things. By the way, we got a new channel member, Kenneth Buxton. Thanks, Kenneth. We appreciate it, my friend. Thank you for coming, new member. You can too by hitting that join button. I think you should be able to see it like right below all this and stuff if you're interested in that. And there's also the booster club if you want to get some more perks and stuff like that. All that's available for you guys. All right, let's see this one. It's a different topic. Jalen Green recruitment. I think we all thought he was coming.
Yeah.
And then that stupid G League got in the way. I want you to imagine a world, Austin, where it is Sharif Cooper, Isaac Okoro, Jalen Green, Chuma Okeke. I realize this would never happen because you'd have to convince all of them to stay and come at the same time. And Austin Wiley. What? Imagine that. Bryce Brown. Let's throw Bryce Brown in there too, and Jared Harper. Everybody in there. But just you could have had a world where all of these names are together. How awesome would that have been?
Oh, I mean, it would have been amazing. And I'm like the stereotypical Auburn fan here. I was the same way. I was confident, and then like with a week to go, it's like, what's this new team that's coming and taking all these players? And it went just as south as it was going up. So, that would have been an amazing team. And obviously now we've seen Jalen Green even more, and he went second overall in the draft like everyone thought he would while he was making that decision. So it didn't really hurt him either way. But on the same thread, I do think some of this NIL stuff is going to help kind of calm that G League and that pro or early pro, those early pro opportunities down a little bit. So, man, it would have been really fun to have all those guys on one team, though, and definitely maybe we don't have that postseason ban or think too strongly about that last year with all those guys coming to Auburn.
If there's one, it doesn't even have to be specifically Auburn talking here, but like if there's one sport that you think benefits the most from NIL, what is it?
Oh gosh, I think it's any of the female sports. Like honestly, I think just because their social media following is so much bigger, and that's where this is going to start. The easy one to say is Suni Lee at gymnastics. The girl's going to make as much money as she wants to make.
She's a millionaire right now. Let me just go ahead and tell you all that. If you didn't know, she probably already is a millionaire.
Yeah, if she's not, she will be by tomorrow. Like it won't take long at all. No, but any of the girls on gymnastics, because all it is starting out right now, and all it really needs to be is post this on your Instagram to your 100,000 followers and tell them that you liked it. Like that's all it has to be right now. So I think people talked about, is Bo Nix or his O lineman going to get mad that they're not making as much as him? I really think that will not be as much effect as people think early on. Yeah, I think all the female sports will get a huge boost.
I agree with that, but here's one of the bad effects is how it's going to trickle down. And this is the whole thing of opening Pandora's box. You can't put it back in. And I think this is where it's on high school associations and their coaches especially, and the parents to really do, I hate to sound mean, but do your jobs on this one and help them understand you can do these things. You can have these things, but you need to wait till you get to college. You're not ready for that type of responsibility. You may be great, but if you want to go to college, what's the kid out of Ohio State that just decided to forego his senior year? I have no problem with that. In terms of if that's okay with him, his family, and what he's planning to do with his future, and it makes sense. In fact, I respect a lot of people that decide not to go to college. As big an advocate as I am of Auburn University because they decide to go into a trade or they've already just gotten into the field that they want to be in and are working their way up. Because why spend all that money if you're already in your field and kind of getting your experience? Now, there is a value that comes from going to Auburn University specifically. But, I just think I hope these kids try not to grow up too fast.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is take the opportunity now that you know it's coming. Like it's here. So it's going to be there for when it's your turn. But Now that you know that opportunity is coming, take the time to educate yourself and get a plan together. But I mean, the biggest thing I keep thinking about too is you're not as valuable to these people if you don't have that following and you don't have that kind of success that allows this opportunity to happen. So first and foremost, and we've heard some of our guys, our players talk about this, is I think Smoke and Tank have both said, I'm not worried about that because I got a season to play right now, and that'll come when it comes. So I think that's a great mentality to have about it.
It is. It's a good mentality. Let's see. Casey says Bruce Pearl's been scheduling one of his former teams, Southern Indiana. Are they on the schedule? I can't remember.
I don't remember.
Is that like
look at that?
Maybe that's one of the ones that's working on. I would love to see that personally. I love when you have history with a school and you play, because it makes it. That's why the Auburn Tennessee game every year now is so big, and it's what 7, almost 8 seasons removed now from him being there, and it's still special.
So it looks like Casey is telling us that, and it looks like that's people have been writing about that within the last hour. So that's going to be an exhibition game for the Auburn Tigers. Pearl welcoming Southern Indiana in. So that's pretty cool.
Now, I have a little twitch that happens when we talk about exhibition games with Auburn basketball, with them losing to Barry.
I was at that game. Yeah, not fun.
Clint knows this, and he's watching right now, about how I lost my mind about Barry. I just you lost to a team that has an old man's name. I'm sorry for any of you that are named Barry out there. I said what I said, and I meant what I meant. An elephant's faithful 100%. Sorry. All right. I told you bring the weird stuff out of me. Hypothetical AU lineup from 2021: Sharif Cooper, Scoot Henderson. Just look at these names. Just bask in what could have been for Auburn. And this is what Bruce Pearl has done. I can't wrap my head around that. Like, I never thought we'd stop whining about what shoes we were wearing or not.
Q Clint.
Q Clint. That'll get him started over there. Larry says that NIL may destroy college sports. I don't know that it'll destroy. Will it change it in some negative ways? Probably. But I would probably say those same sentiments were felt when they got rid of the wishbone, or people stopped using it, or they created the forward pass. I'm with you. I don't like it, but something has to change.
Yeah.
It's just reached that point in the business model, unfortunately, because that's really what it is. It's all about the money. And it's what you have to do. I mean, what could they have done differently, Austin? Like, is there anything that they should have done before they did this model of it?
I don't think so. I mean, I think this puts it and takes some blame off of the schools, and allows the students to, okay, if you want to do this, then it's on you. You figure it out, and you got to take it on your own. So I like the plan. I just think that it was probably pretty rushed, just because of a lot of backlash and the amount of noise we've heard over the last couple of years.
I think where it should have started, and this is me being a free market enterprise type of guy here, it should have started with, okay, we are going to put your names on the back of jerseys. They are available.
Yeah.
And if you sell the jerseys, you make the money. Now, you may say, well, that's unfair to the players who probably will never sell a jersey. Yeah, maybe, but that's the whole point of this, is if you work for it and you earn it, you get the money. But also it motivates other people. And you're not going to sit here and tell me that, imagine this. Who was one of the more popular players, fan-wise, 2-3 seasons ago?
Kerryon Johnson.
Think more like obscure, like not obscure, but like had no following, and then had one game and all of a sudden blew up, and he was like one of the fan favorites. White Lightning.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, Will Hastings.
If Will Hastings would have sold out the wazoo, they could have even said put White Lightning on the bottom of it too.
Yeah.
And you could set all it takes is that one moment and you're the fan favorite. I mean, think how many jerseys Trey Smith would have sold after he took the block punt against Florida in 2006 into the end zone.
Yeah.
Like instantly people are buying his jersey. So all it takes is one moment. It's your opportunity to take. Personally, that's where it should have started for me. And we could talk instead of jumping right into this. But here we are, Suni Lee walking on campus as a millionaire.
Yeah, that's right.
I love having her here. I just feel so bad for her.
Gosh, Emily and I have talked about that. I pray she gets some kind of normal experience. We all know she won't. But she wanted to come to college. She wanted to come to Auburn, and I really hope she's going to get that. I do think it's so fresh right now, and obviously so. But I do think it'll calm down. But I mean, she's going to become more popular the more success she has on the team and athletically. So, I hope she gets to embrace it and enjoy Auburn as much as she can.
All right, I put this down here for a reason. I'm about to ask you a question. Who would let's imagine what I just said was the case. We're just doing jerseys. If you can sell it, your jerseys, you make a portion off of it or whatever. Who makes more money, Cam Newton or Chris Davis?
Cam is still going to make the most money.
No, I guarantee you, Chris Davis's jersey would have rocketed past Cam Newton. I guarantee it.
I don't think so. Why not? How many twos you still see? It would have been like
fair.
Chris Davis after the Iron Bowl. It would have been a huge sell immediately. But that whole season of 2010, they would have been buying them more and more as we get going. And then after they win the Heisman, a huge rush. After they win the championship, a huge rush because they would have put the little patch on it, right, Clint? And there'd be a huge rush on them. I'm telling you that Cam's it would just keep going. It'd be so exponential. There, look, I'm not ignoring him.
I know. That's what I do. That's what I do to Clint, though. I just make him feel like he's important, and then I just like dash his hopes. I'm kidding, Clint. I'm kidding. You'll be back on the show. You can call in right now, Clint, if you want to. He knows how to do it.
Yeah, Clint. Are we going when Auburn leaves Under Armour? Where are we going after that?
Oh, we spent a whole live
article on that.
Yes. I wonder what he thinks about that. See, Corey's my guy. Corey knows what's up.
Oh, no. Look,
Clint says Cam. Yeah. What about the Virginia double dribble? What about it? It sucked.
Yeah, James. There's no look. We're having a good time tonight.
James,
I need to bring this up.
Doing? Or this? I think actually this is Bo. I forget. This is Bo who just called in.
Okay.
We've gone through this before. I'm remembering this is actually he calls in on the James thing. Anyway. Apparently Clint has scheduled himself for next week without talking to me.
Congratulations.
Seems like you need to talk to the editor, sir. This is going off the rails here. When Cam caught that touchdown, yeah.
Huge.
Since we're having fun with this, what's the moment where he would have sold the most jerseys? I'm going to give you a couple. I'm going to give you a couple.
Okay.
LSU Heisman run. The catch at Ole Miss. The throw at Kentucky. This is where he like slung it down the sideline and just somehow got the first down. Probably could say the same thing for Darvin Adams in the SEC championship game. Which moment, or if you can think of another one, would have sold the most for Cam?
It's got to be a moment on the field. Because I think
let's say on the field. Yes, let's say on the field.
I think the LSU run has to be top 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was going to say him beating Alabama, but I don't think it would have been there wasn't him specifically. I think Philip Bledsoe-Kirkin would have sold a lot of jerseys.
I don't know. He had that first little dive into the end zone when we started making the comeback. So that I don't know. That's not that. It was great, obviously, but it wasn't super, super exciting. Clint wants to bring the War Dustbusters. Austin, do you know about the War Dustbuster? Should I tell them, folks?
I've heard this, but I don't think I don't remember this.
So we had an individual, let's say like 3 months ago, who decided at the very end of the show, I think it was, that he wanted to describe, I think it was something about his old grandpa doing something with a dustbuster. I'm just going to let the imagination run wild there. And so forever. And then after that, everybody said, well, War Dustbuster to that. And so that's just been there's a t-shirt up on TeePublic that I've made for you all. I'm not saying it's the best quality like design out there, but I made it for you because people wanted me to see me do that. So it's available if anybody wants to buy it. There you go.
Interesting.
So that's War Dustbuster. So Clint's got a new article coming out, so I guess we might have to have him on. We'll talk about it, Clint, but that's probably going to likely happen. I'd like Auburn to join Adidas. We're going to see. This is going to become Clint's show.
Yeah.
How does he do
this? I'm sorry.
I did that. What do you think? Adidas, Nike, Air Jordan? I know that's technically Nike, but like, what do you think?
Yeah, my preference, or what do I think would happen?
What do you want, and what do you think?
I'm probably. Oh man, this is so much pressure knowing Clint's watching me.
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
I know. I'm probably Team Adidas on both fronts. I don't know.
I feel like I'm leaning towards Adidas, and here's why. And I think it makes I think what's going to happen if they leave Under Armour, which it kind of looks like we may be heading that way. I think it's going to be Nike, and I think that makes the most sense. But I kind of like going with one of the two companies that's the more of the underdog.
Yeah.
Even though I don't really like connect with Adidas for any reason, but that's the only reason that I kind of think that route.
Yeah,
personally.
fair enough.
Let's see here. We got a little behind in chat. We'll try to catch up here. Save it for the group chat. For those of you that don't know, we have a group chat that all the E2C network members are in, and things happen in there. So things happen so many ways. Neil, I'm not going to put that one up on screen. He's addressing a little bit too much there. Puma? Any thoughts on Puma?
Someone is New Balance. Am I making that up?
No, somebody addressed New Balance. I think Puma would be more likely than that, but yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Maybe. Oh, here we go. Larry's got it. All right. Who would have made more money? Chris Davis or Bo Over the Top on that moment on jersey sales? I love this game.
They're single moments.
Let's nothing else happened except those moments for them in time. So think about the player, the context, the game, all that stuff. Who has sold more?
This is going to be a way deeper dive than we need. But I'm going to say that it's Chris Davis for a couple reasons. Because of the level of like exposure we're in now.
Yeah.
Like TV, social media, all that stuff. But also, this is going further on a stretch. I don't think jerseys were as like popular to wear as like a game day thing.
Yeah.
Back up for Bo. So I'm going to say Chris Davis. That's probably way more overthinking it than I need to, but
and Clint's killing our joy here, reminding us all that they weren't available in the 80s. So there's that. But we're just speculating here at this point. I'm going to argue
Bo's going to like the amount of jerseys Bo Jackson would sell like from then to now would just be astronomical.
But I'm going to argue that it would have been Bo, because while I will argue till I'm blue in the face with anybody that the kick six is not only the greatest college football moment, it's the greatest football moment, is the greatest sports moment of all time because of what was at stake and what happened before, during, around the game, and just the context of everything. And I will argue with anyone and win till I'm blue in the face. I don't care what kind of fan you are. But think about the significance of what had been going on during that time frame. 10 years of no wins against Alabama. And this guy from Wyoming comes in, Pat Dye, who is has ties to Alabama, and tells Coach Bryant, "We ain't scared of you no more," and brings in this guy from Birmingham, outside of Birmingham and Bessemer, Bo Jackson, and they take down the Giants. That we're talking about Alabama being a giant now. To me, that's a bigger giant when you've gone 10 years without seeing a victory over your rivals.
Sure. Yeah.
So I say Bo.
Fair enough.
Apparently Clint's on your team. No shocker there. Kick six, the greatest sports moment in my opinion. I've never seen that happen before. I was there. Were you there, Austin?
Yep.
Where were you sitting?
I was sitting with my dad in the lower bowl section 7.
Give me a reference point. Were you across from the band, near the band? Like, where were you?
No, I was like across from the student section, maybe like 30.
So I was across from you in the student section. I was not a student. How I got in doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. I was there, and I always told my wife, I said, listen, if I ever get a chance to rush the field after a game, I'm taking it. I'll try to bring you with me. But just know that for that one moment, just one fleeting moment, that's the most important thing to me. But just know that I love you and that you're the most important thing in my life. But this is going to happen. So when I saw the kick go up, came down, my heart stopped for a second because I thought they had made it. And then I realized, oh, Chris Davis caught this. Is he really going to run this thing back? See him running. I kind of lose sight of him about the 40. Like, well, he's going to get tackled there on the sideline. And then he just comes out. And I never saw the play finish because I'm in a dog pile.
Yeah.
Like just dog pile in the student section. People are freaking out. So I just heard the touchdown happen, but I never saw it. And I'm trying to like sift through this mass of human to try to find my wife in there. And I finally just said, screw it. And just ran and just like, I'm on the field. And I said, I told her we've talked about this. It's fine.
That's right.
I probably slept on the couch for the next couple of weeks, but it's fine. We're good.
It happened. You can never forget it.
It's, there it is. No other college football team have better stories to tell than Auburn. It's probably the case. There's a lot of history, behind that. Rodney, good to see you from Bruton, Alabama. Crazy things happen in Auburn. Just Alabama fans, yes. Kyle was the reason we got fined. Yes, I am the reason that you got fined $250K as fan, and that was well spent by Auburn. I think, I was there for the 2017 when we stormed again. Wasn't that the other one?
That was my senior year, so I was in your position. I was in the student section going down.
Where was I sitting? Oh, I was in the student section there too. Don't ask me how. I was there again too. Actually got into the game for $50, believe it or not. Nice. And that's I don't know how I did it, but I just remember like seeing everybody start going. I'm like, oh, we're doing this again. Let's do it.
Right.
Let's go. It's fine. It's fine. We're just going to spend a lot more money here. Now Casey, let me explain. Austin, I know you've popped in and out before. Let me explain Casey. Casey is the master of hyperbole. Is convinced, and he and Amani. We haven't seen Amani tonight, but Amani, they are convinced we're winning the national championship. So I want you to help them realize why we're not going to win the national championship.
More power to you, Casey. I love the optimism, and good gosh, I hope you're right. But I'll tell you one reason we're definitely not going 12-0 and winning the national championship. You can't go 12-0 and win the national championship anymore. You got to go like 14, I think, or maybe 15.
That's true.
So there's one small flaw. Also, I just there's a lot of obstacles there that I don't see happening. They're always going to have a tough schedule. Auburn's got that first year magic. We've seen that with a lot of coaches, but that'd be more than magical. Let's say that. So I hope you're right.
I will say this to Casey's point. If a guy with 1 second left on the clock can run 109 yards, anything's possible.
That's right.
That's I will relent on my my point there, just in that area. Let's see. We got some more recruiting talk. Trey Donaldson, Darius Clemens, Amari Kelly, Cristobal's. Yes. Now the other two, are those basketball players? I can't remember.
Darius Clemens and Amari Kelly are wide receivers.
That's
Trey
right.
Donaldson is a point guard and a football player.
And then Zion Cruz got a couple of crystal balls for us recently, the point guard, right?
Yes. I would not feel super optimistic about him if I were you. We can talk about that later.
Yes, I need to know the scoop. But, that's why I enjoy recruiting. I will entertain it. But I just, for my personal health, I can't get invested anymore. I used to I remember in my dorm room just scrolling down the message boards. And I can't do it again. I just can't. If I get into that world, I'm done.
It's time consuming.
Chris also forced the Bama running back out of bounds. TJ Yeldon is who it was. You know, I've rewatched that clock several times. And every time I look at it, I've convinced myself there was not a second, but then the second time I watch it, there was a second. It's one of those things that's really hard to play, but do we really want to complain about it at this point? No, just no, bro. Yes, Rodney, we have talked about Truesdale leaving. Hey, spelling doesn't count here. We don't count it against you. It's part of the growing pains. I've said this 1,000 times here. I was not a fan and in favor of a full transition this year. This is what comes with it. And there are players that are not happy with the situation. Does that mean that I don't know Tyrone? I can't speak to what's going on, but it's just what happens. And I'd rather us play with the ones that can and want to be here and keep somebody that has other things they need to take care of or doesn't want to be here. The reason I keep being vague on that is because I don't know what the reason is. So I don't want to assume one way or the other, but there's that. All right. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're about out of time. Let me just kind of remind you guys of a couple things. And I meant to I had a bunch of announcements I wanted to name, but we had so much fun talking to Austin. We just kind of flew right into that. So get your last minute rapid fire questions in here. War Report is going live in just a few minutes here. And we try to get off about the time that they do, because I know a lot of you want to head on over there. Check out all the links in the description for ways that you can help support here, such as becoming a channel member. Thank you to, let me go all the way back up, Kenneth. That's right. I had to find him again. Kenneth, for becoming one. And this live stream, you can do so as well by hitting that join button. But there's also the Booster Club. Same thing. You can sign up for as little as $1 a month, and you can get even more access to inside information that nobody else gets on what we're doing, kind of what we're thinking about, all that stuff. There's also PayPal, TeePublic, all that good stuff. But be sure to check out our podcast. Here's the big announcement. I typically don't do this early, but I'm kind of excited about this one. Austin knows what I'm about to announce. So let me clarify. We have our main podcast network where all the show's on. Then we also have a separate one that is exclusively Auburn Roots. Auburn Roots is the series where people come on and tell their Auburn stories. Every 2 weeks, we usually put out one of these episodes. Austin will be on there at some point. We're about to release one tomorrow. It will be on the main feed, but you can, if you just want those shows, they have their own feed as well. That's where I would suggest you go check that one out so you can find all the different ones. Coach Sonny Smith, D. Ford, this guy named Clint Richardson who's obsessed with uniforms, Jarris McIntyre, and several other, we've had beat writers on, we've had blog writers, we've had people you've never heard of before. We had a guy that actually, until I started talking to him, I was like, this is an Alabama fan. We're actually having an Auburn thing, but he does have a good Auburn story, so that's why we kept him on there. Here's the announcement. Tomorrow is an anniversary of a certain guy. I keep trying to track this out. We will have as our guest on Auburn Roots for episode 35, Andy Burcham, the voice of the Auburn Tigers. One of my favorite interviews that I've done, and I've enjoyed every single one of them. D, you're still my favorite interview of all time because you're the first one. Don't if you see this, don't hate me. But Andy Burcham, he and I sat down to talk about his Auburn story, and it's going to be awesome. I've already listened to it twice myself, and I was there live for it. That's how much I love it. So please check that out tomorrow. Subscribe if you haven't as well. It's going to be an awesome time there, and I'm super excited for it. Do you have anything that you want to share, Austin, where they can connect with you or anything like that?
No, I'm always around on the Auburn Twitter sphere. Sometimes that's fun, sometimes that's dangerous. You can follow me on there. Football's coming up, so we'll be writing a lot more, analyzing every game. It's going to be a lot of fun this year because there will be a lot of moving parts and a lot of new things. So be sure to be tuned in on all our great content, especially the podcast. But we'll have some written content for you here really soon.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much. I don't know that we have many more. Russell, he just said, do we have time for a quick call? Austin, you make the call. Do you need to go?
No, come on. If he can
All right,
call
Russell, we're going to give you 2 minutes. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. If you can get in, we'll take your call real quick, and that'll be how we close out tonight. So I guess we need to figure out something to talk about until then. Rather unorthodox thing, but you can call in.
You brought the iron ball. This is the toilet paper I threw from my senior year iron ball.
That is awesome. And I used to do stuff like that, but I've lost them, to be honest with you. I have above me, and this is going to seem a little bit like sacrilegious or things like that. I have 2 shakers, Alabama shakers, wrapped in pieces of the bush from the 2 iron bowls where we stormed the field. All right, we got Russell. You got in, my friend. You ask and you shall receive. What's up?
War Eagle, guys.
War Eagle. What's on your mind?
Oh, not much, man. Glad I got to call in. Y'all were, had a good conversation tonight. Good show.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, anytime. Great guest, awesome. I had a question, so take a sip of Kool-Aid real quick before I go ahead and give y'all this some Kool-Aid. Okay, now let's go down hypothetical real quick.
Okay.
Say Auburn goes 10-2 this year.
Mhm.
Chances they could play for an SEC and then sneak into the playoff. I'll just play along with me here. Okay, say they lose to Penn State because we're breaking in a new system.
Right.
Then we lose to Georgia because I think Georgia's a powerhouse this year. We may not be quite ready when we first play them.
Okay.
Hopefully beat them. But say we run the table on the rest of our games, and by the time we reach the Iron Bowl, people are saying, "Oh, you got Alabama." They're reloading a little bit this year, and we got them at home, and we got a little bit of a veteran team. So say we go 10-2, get our rematch with Georgia, possibly a different team at that point, upset them, go into the playoffs, maybe a dream season, re-beat Alabama again, and then beat UCF for the national title.
UCF.
Now, anyway, just to be, I know that's crazy, but just, on your thoughts, though, that's not too far out of the realm of possibility what I was talking about, possibly losing to Penn State and Georgia with them being powerhouse. And,
Yes.
Beating Alabama then at home. What are y'all thoughts? What are y'all's thoughts on that?
So the big hurdle for me, I agree with you, is Penn State. Penn State is going to be a marker for where this team is at. That's not me saying that Penn State's just world beater, that they're going to, shock the world and be the great team this year. Maybe they will. I don't know. But I think it'll tell me a lot because that's going to be a hostile environment. And then you've got a gauntlet after that as well. So if they get out of the thing about the I'm thinking back here, 2013 season, people forget the fight and the grit that the team showed in that LSU game where they lost, where they had no business being in the game at halftime. And they came back, and if there was a different bounce of a ball, we're talking about maybe a game that goes down to the wire.
Yeah.
So yes, to your point, if I could see a scenario where we struggle a little bit in that area you're talking about and go on a little bit of run, especially if the offensive line has gotten it together. If the wide in that, what I think that would allow is Bo obviously to get his confidence back. It'll allow him to be a little bit more loose and free, thus loosening up and not making the wide receivers feel the pressure being so young and inexperienced. And this defense seems to be pretty solid on most fronts. There's a recipe there where if you get the right momentum at the right time, you can go on a run. I said my thoughts a lot, but Austin, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I don't think it's that far out of a realm of possibility either. But I do think that those run the gamut after Georgia, those are some big hurdles with Alabama in there and A&M and I mean the normal SEC gauntlet. So it would be tough, but I mean you said it. There's no SEC West losses in that scenario. They would have absolutely if they figure it out after Georgia have the chance to run through it. So I mean that'd be incredible, and I'd be all for that. I really want that Penn State win just because I think that'd be a huge thing to step off on for Brian Harsin and his staff and show that they've got some things they can work with, especially because I think they're going to be a really good team, Penn State, very improved. So getting that win, I think, is one of the most important things you can have. But, if you can figure it out at any point after a loss, like that 2013 team did with after losing to LSU, special things can happen. So, no, I don't think it's the craziest thing I've ever heard. I've heard a lot crazier.
Yeah, hopefully that'll come to fruition. I know it's everybody's got a guessing game right now, but you're trying to factor in all the equations and come up with a good answer. And just with a new team, it's going to take them a minute to break in.
Yep.
And hopefully this power running game can give us a couple of easier games working into Penn State to kind of establish that quarterback, wide receiver, offensive line rapport. But the running game, I think from game one is going to be hitting the ground running, literally. I think it's going to be kind of carrying our team this year. So if that can kind of take some pressure off of Bo and the receivers for a couple games and maybe somehow figure out how to pull one out of Penn State, like you said, we might be we won't be the underdog anymore. We'll start becoming the hunted, and I think we're the hunter right now because people are really doubting us. If we finish 5th in the West like we were predicted by the sports writers, I would be shocked. I'd be literally shocked. Now it may happen, and I may just be completely wrong, but I think we're looking at maybe a 8 to 10 win season, and possibly better. And at worst, if we're doing worse than 8, it's that's a surprise because you don't have a coaching staff bringing these 1-year players like Tony Fair and Demetrius Robinson who are trying to make it to the pros. If you're just trying to rebuild and get to next year, they obviously think they can win this year. So they wouldn't have brought in these guys that they brought in. It's just kind of all the signs are pointing to they think they have an SEC championship caliber team. But that's the fun of preseason, guys. Thanks for taking my call. I don't want to keep y'all any longer. Y'all did great tonight.
Are you good?
Thanks.
Thank you, Russell. Thank you. All right. Well, that's going to be our show tonight. Austin, thank you for sticking around for a little extra time there and hanging out with us.
Dude, this was a blast. Thank you so much for having me. Thanks for all the comments and the call-ins.
Yes, guys. Thank y'all so much. Y'all were great tonight in your comments and call-ins. And as you're leaving tonight, if you're heading over to War Report or somebody else, just tell them that E2C Network said, hey, and War Eagle as well. Smash that like button on the way out. Share with a friend. That's the biggest thing you can do. And check out those links in the description. And check out the new Auburn Roots tomorrow with Andy Bertram. You don't want to miss it. Until then, War Eagle.